Blended families, when done right, supply joy for all. But when you don't plan properly, they produce their own sets of difficulties and circumstances. Because if you have children from a prior marriage and you don't properly plan, well, what could happen? And what do I mean by don't properly plan? Well, there's layers of plans and levels of plans and an array of plans. If you have none, so you're at 0. If you have a will, you might be at a 7.5. And if you have a trust, you might be at a 10. So in this little story, 10 is really good. Well, if you have no plan, you follow the plan of New York State. That's intestate. And if a person passes away, their asset, any asset they have in their individual name, goes to their spouse and their children. Spouse and children receive. So now what happens if a person is married and they have children from another relationship? Still their kids. If you own a house, that house goes to your spouse partially and to your children partially. But the spouse, well, that spouse may not want to have shared. I'm fracturing that sentence. Perhaps that spouse doesn't want to provide for your children. Or the reverse. What would happen if you have your name on the deed with your spouse, but you also want to protect your children? You need a plan. So what are the things to do to figure out where things are going to go and how you want them to go and what to do? Well, speak to an estate planning attorney. This guy. Speak to an estate planning attorney and let that attorney know what's good, what it is that you're looking to do. And then we can have a conversation about what would make the most sense for you and you. Speak to your family. Let them know, this is what I intend to do. I'm going to provide for my spouse for a period of time, and then the house is going to go to you children. I have money in a bank account that's going to go to children, and I want this other specific asset to go here or there, right? So speak to an attorney, speak to your family. Think about the plan that you want. Take care of, don't just set a plan, but then don't forget it. Don't forget to review it or look at it again. Periodic and frequent reviews of your plan make sense. Family dynamics. They can be wonderful. Love, hugs, support, physical and emotional support. But family dynamics can go awry after the passing of a loved one. So in this series, I've spoken about the fact that a will could be contested if someone felt that their loved one was coerced, or if someone was left out, or if either through unintentional an unintentional act or an overt act that the beneficiary objects to. So that's one category, like contesting a will and all of the reasons underlying why that might happen. And another few issues grouped together might be distributees, beneficiaries having a problem with the fiduciary. Maybe the executor was a poor choice, or that person had a disagreeable personality, or really was overbearing for some reason. So the fiduciary can cause family dynamics to butt heads. Then the third general area that I'd like to speak about is blended families. So absent those two other reasons, blended families can cause, a child from a prior relationship, a child from a prior marriage may be differently situated than the children that were either from both, the product of both husband and wife, or that actually maybe lived with them, or were the children of the second to pass away. Right? So a husband and wife, each have children. Husband passes away. His children don't have anything to contest, perhaps, because everything went to the wife. They might be upset. And if the children of the wife, in my example, are now living with the wife and their mom, maybe upon her death, those children that were exclusively from a prior relationship of the father, husband, maybe some issues come into play. This is when, the chickens come home to roost. So one thing you can do is to speak to the children. Well, first of all, sorry, I left this out. Inside of your estate plan, you have to be explicit as to who is going to get what and when. Maybe at a why? I don't know. You don't need to put it in writing, the why. But a good thing to do is to give the why while you're alive. I will be giving to John for this reason. I will be splitting the money in 4 ways, not 3. And why? That goes a long way. Dialogue and conversations go a long way, no matter what the field of law. If you'd like to speak with me, frankbrunolaw.com.